Hi, T.O.T. Carlson here, and in about a month it's going to be Halloween, so the perfect time for horror movies. And one of the all-time greats just got its first 4K release. The movie we're looking at today is The Exorcist, directed by William Friedkin and based on the novel by William Peter Blatty. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinion. There is a Best Buy Steelbook release of this. Unfortunately, all the stores were sold out, so I wasn't able to get one. If I do get one of those, I'll do a separate unboxing video. So this is just the standard release. Here's our close-up. Got that Warner Brothers 100th anniversary logo. Not really a huge fan of their choice of cover art here. I mean, that's not even the best picture of Reagan you can come up with. I mean, this almost kind of looks like Chunk from the Goonies. I mean, any picture of Reagan from the film probably would have been better than that one. Back cover there. And I don't see why they couldn't have just used the movie poster cover with Father Merrin at the front door of the house. I mean, I thought that was iconic, simple, to the point, and it worked. And they actually do use that art on the foreign release. Under the slipcover, pretty much the same thing. We do get a digital copy of the film. And then we get two discs in here. One disc is the original theatrical version, and the other disc is the extended director's cut. 4K discs only in this set. As with many recent Warner Brothers releases, there are no Blu-ray discs included. I will read the description of the film as follows from the case. The supernatural masterpiece, more powerful than ever in 4K. Controversial and popular from the moment it opened, this frightening and realistic tale of an innocent girl inhabited by a terrifying entity, her mother's frantic resolve to save her, and two priests, one doubt-ridden, the other a rock of faith, joined in battling ultimate evil, always leaves viewers breathless. The greatest supernatural thriller of all time, The Exorcist astonishes and unsettles like no other movie. From the time it came out in 1973 right up to the present day, 50 years later, this is a movie that's continued to just terrify and impress audiences of all kinds. Horror movies continue to cite this as one of their all-time favorites, and it's certainly not hard to see why. The Exorcist, of course, starts out with several conflicting plot lines, including actress Chris McNeil and her daughter Reagan, who, of course, becomes the target for a demonic possession. And then you have Father Karras, who's losing his faith, but maybe the only hope that Reagan has, as well as Detective Kinderman, played brilliantly by veteran actor Lee J. Cobb in one of his final roles, investigating the strange goings-ons around Georgetown in the film. And then, of course, you have the plot with Father Lancaster Merrin, portrayed by veteran actor Max von Sydow, who was only in his 40s here, but looks much older due to the expert work from the makeup team that worked on this movie, being the one man who might have to lead this exorcism if they want any hope of saving Reagan McNeil's life. The movie is certainly a product of its era in many regards, but it does stand the test of time. It clocks in at nearly 2 hours, about 10 minutes longer if you're watching the extended cut. Which cut of the movie is better really depends on your personal preference. The extended cut does add in some extra scenes that sort of flesh out the goings-on in the film, the most infamous of which is probably the spider walk sequence that was added. That, of course, was not finished for the original film due to the limitations of the day. I don't really have any strong preference towards one cut of the film or the other, although I do like certain things about one more than the other, or vice versa. The acting in the film is top-notch. Ellen Burstyn portrays the actress Chris McNeil, who, of course, has a daughter who's possessed by a demon, so juggling this with her acting life certainly creates a chaotic atmosphere, not to mention she's estranged from her husband and the father of her daughter. And then you get other great performances in the film, including Jason Miller, who portrays Father Karras. Jason Miller was a seriously underrated actor, and it's a shame that he didn't have any roles as big as this one, with the possible exception of his portraying Coach Parsegian in the film Rudy in 1993. Sadly, he died in the early 2000s and never really got the proper respect he deserved as an actor. Linda Blair, of course, portrays the possessed Reagan, and she gives one of her performances for the ages. Linda Blair, of course, I don't think would ever be known for any role as well as this one, although she certainly continued to act, and if I'm not mistaken, she's actually still active in the entertainment industry, so it's good to see she's going strong. I mean, she did everything from more horror movies to a special guest star spot on Married with Children, so she's certainly gotten around. The movie creates a haunting atmosphere like no other. I mean, the lighting is just about perfect. The locations are just about perfect. This movie could take everyday locations and transform them into some of the scariest that you could ever possibly imagine. And of course, Mike Oldfield's theme, Tubular Bells, will forever be associated with this film and just further adds to that haunting atmosphere. I like a movie that scares me and makes me think, and The Exorcist certainly does both of those things. Going back and revisiting this one is always a pleasure, no matter how terrifying the film may be. I mean, from the time it was released, this movie's been seen as one of the scariest of all time. By today's standards, it might seem fairly lax and maybe even borderline campy at times, but you have to understand, when this came out, it was a genuinely terrifying film, and for many, many decades, this even held the record for being the highest-grossing R-rated horror film of all time, until the record was eventually topped by the adaptation of Stephen King's It in 2017. The Exorcist makes its 4K debut here, and I am happy to say that despite what I'm seeing certain naysayers say online, this is a very good-looking disc, and it's everything that a movie like this needs. You do get the HDR. Again, no Dolby Vision on this one because Warner doesn't seem to use that on vintage titles, and I'm happy to say that that gives you everything from the boosted black levels and shadow detail to more vibrant colors whenever a scene in the movie calls for them. Sadly, again, there is no Blu-ray included, so you don't get any of the old bonus features. You just get commentary tracks. And there is the intro from William Friedkin that's on the theatrical cut disc. That dates back to the DVD era. It is very disappointing not to see a bigger supplement package here. There is a digital copy included, and if I'm not mistaken, you can get some of the bonus features on there, although I don't really count that because they're not actually on the disc. That's something you might want to keep in mind as well if you're someone who uses both the digital copies and the proper 4K discs that are included. Aside from the relative lack of bonus features, though, picture quality is top-notch, contrary to what I've heard a lot of the naysayers say, and The Exorcist looks better than ever, it's as scary as ever, and if you are a horror fan, this one's an absolute no-brainer to add to your collection. Are you a fan of The Exorcist? Do you think it's the greatest horror movie ever made? Or are you looking forward to the upcoming rebooted sequel trilogy? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content because I'm always posting new videos. And make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.